so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hello, all you positive heads. Welcome to a very special episode dedicated to none other than you, the P-heads themselves. I am your P-head enthusiast and hostess for the day, Alexa Hauser. I have been blessed to have the experience of helping out with Positive Head social media for the better part of a year. And through my digital interactions, I began to realize, as did Brandon, that we have some incredible beings listening to this show who are taking the information that Brandon puts out through the podcast and using it to transform their lives and create wonderful things. You listeners are all a huge, huge part of the life force that propels this show forward through time and space, and we think it's time to bring forth some of you beautiful reflections and delve a little deeper into this collection of energy that is the Positive Head community. So as we shine the spotlight on our listeners, what we'll have them do is share their stories of how they attracted Positive Head into their life, the transformation it's facilitated for them, and what they're focused on creating now that they're in a more positive headspace. Also, this episode of the Positive Head podcast is being brought to you thanks to the support of Gaia. If you're not familiar, Gaia is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content online. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out. Hello, all you positive heads. On this week's P-Head Posse episode, our guest is Positive Head listener Tim Trottman. Ever evolving, ever learning, ever expanding, seeking answers to life's big questions, Tim was blessed a half a life ago to be found by entheogens. In turn, finding himself, exposing the fractal interconnectedness of all things and the fact that everything is a reflection and extension of self. This catapulted him down the spiritual path, further awakening to our immense co-creative powers to manifest reality with our thoughts and practices. Now he is here to offer the permission slips that anyone can harness the potential of their greatest and most grand version. Hey, Tim, welcome to the show.
Oh, Alexa, Positive Head, thank you so much for having me. I cannot thank you enough. Yeah, those moments where English and words fail. So much gratitude. I appreciate you so much having me on.
Oh, I appreciate you coming on. I feel like this is a long time coming.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. I don't not feel that way, but it all happens in perfect divine timing. This is certainly all coincided perfectly with everything that we've had going on in the back end.
Yeah, and you have had a lot going on. If you are in the, Positive Heads Facebook group and an active part of the community, I'm sure you will recognize Tim's name. And that's actually why, that's what prompted this segment. And I'm really excited about that because actually we're going to get into all that. But this segment initially was started, this P-Head Posse segment was, the idea behind it was like, we're all creating awesome things and like, let's have a platform to talk about those things and promote them within our group. So I'm really excited for you to talk about what you're creating because you're creating something amazing. But before we get there, why don't we rewind a little bit and go back to, Tim is a very awesome, interesting, unique being. So I want to know the story of Tim. Or the path that led Tim to where he is now.
Right. It's interesting when I think about this, what points I should bring up and things to illuminate. I think some of the things that really brought me to where I am now from a younger age was the fact that I was largely a loner in childhood. So I learned the skill very quickly on to be able to be happy with just myself and my own space and create fun and things that I wanted to do just on, being alone. So I didn't necessarily have to wait for, desire in a relationship or whatever to feel that. I was able to get that at a very young age. I mean, yes, of course, I did have friends and things like that, but growing up in a small town of 2,000 people and most everybody living in the country, you're very spread out, and moments to connect in physical space are few and far between. So you learn to be happy in your own space. So I got that benefit at a young age. And then right around the time I became a teen, the trauma just started hitting me, right? That's how it felt. It was just like one thing after the next, not being able to understand or process the things that were going on or how I should react to the things in my external reality. Certainly caused me to do some things that I probably shouldn't have done at the time. And in hindsight, that certainly helps to illuminate that it's better to take your time and pick your choices carefully. So, I mean, shortly after going through this loner stage and then lots of trauma that I had to process and release and let go of, I really started delving into, okay, so now that all that's happened, I'm really curious how and why it happened. And just getting into life's bigger questions, the why are we all here? What are we doing? How is this all working? How is this coming together? I'm seeing these interesting, weird synchronicities that don't match up with the traditional view of reality. And I know that there's something else going on here. So it largely became a seek and you shall find journey, trying to illuminate the answers to those questions, at least for my own self, right? Fast forward a decade after that, and I'm about to have a daughter, and I'm kind of crapping myself like, oh, wow, I don't have answers to some of these questions still. I need to know these things in case she asks. So then I really
Some parents still don't have
more...
those answers, I guess.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I don't pretend that I do, but I think I have a viewpoint from my own perspective now that it is at least relatable. And I'm willing to say I don't know in certain situations and not point out a book. Right. Yeah. So that's the thought there. But yeah, trying to find those bigger questions and having dabbled a little bit in psychedelics prior to that, and just realizing the great, immense mind expansive powers that they have and how they dissolve boundaries between you and everything and really help to bring together the fact and illuminate that we are all one, everything is interconnected. So that was just like affirmation that, I'm definitely not being told the story of how reality really is. I'm seeing all these causes and effects that just don't match up with that. So I took... Go ahead.
Oh, no, you continue.
So I took many, many deep journeys to answer those questions and learn more about myself and what I felt my purpose was in this 3D reality and beyond it. And really helping to awaken to my voice and getting to a space where I'm ready to share that. And this has all happened so fast. The transformation has been so rapid and compounding. I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah. Seems like it's been happening fast. It seems like, you have so much going on all of a sudden. And I really quick, I mean, there's a couple of things I want to touch on about your story. One is, it's so interesting to me because you spending a lot of time alone as a child and how that actually ended up, making you teach yourself or learn how to entertain yourself on your own, because I spent a lot of time alone as a child and I had kind of the opposite experience where I really didn't know how to entertain myself. And it's interesting. I just think it's so interesting how we all have we can be in similar kind of similar elements of our stories, but they can kind of play out so differently. And you know, I feel like that really shows in the adult version of you. Like you feel like someone who's just kind of constantly creating around themselves, and that's so awesome. The other thing I want to talk about is psychedelics, which in your intro we said entheogens, and that's another name for psychedelics. Is that correct?
It is. Okay. I mean, the word psychedelic means mind manifesting, and it is my preferred choice because of that. But we've had lots of propaganda and undesirable connotations that have thrusted into an area of the undesirable for many people. So I didn't necessarily want to have that up front in the intro, regardless of knowing that I was going to bring it to light, and the fact that they certainly can aid you on your journey if you feel called to go down that path. I know they have really helped to open up me to myself and catapult me further faster.
Oh, definitely. I would agree with that. I've experimented quite a bit, and I like the first time I ever like experimented with like psilocybin and like mushrooms, I remember my whole life changed just from that one thing, because I was like, wait, what? Like, I thought life was, and nothing even that crazy happened. It was like, I felt what was going on. Like, I mean, yes, I like saw things crazily, but like, it was like, I remember telling myself that I felt like I was born to smile. That's what came out of my mouth. I felt like I was born to smile. And more recently, I've experimented quite a bit with, LSD and all of that. And actually on one of my more recent, journeys, I had this realization. I'm curious your thoughts on this. And I've said this on one podcast that I did. I don't remember when it was, but I had this realization. I was like, wait, this is just like a psychedelic. All it's doing is like removing the resistance that keeps me from being high. So what psychedelics are doing is just, and any drug is doing, but specifically like LSD, to me, it's like showing us what's really there, like how things actually are. But we just have a framework of seeing things that holds things in place. But when you trip in that way, you start to see everything is wavy and everything is moving and everything is like, do you agree with that? Because it kind of blew my mind when I realized that and looked at it from that perspective. Like, oh, this is how things actually are. We just see them through a lens that holds them in place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it goes back to psychedelics being mind manifesting and the fact that what we think happens and the power of thought. And really all it's doing is providing us the permission slips to open up to what's already inside of us. Ram Dass's famous story about giving LSD to his guru and nothing happened, right? Because the man was already there. He didn't need it. So I mean, it just helps to provide that mindset that, okay, the time is now. I'm going to do this. It's going to last for 8 to 12 hours. And I know I can come down after that and be back where I was.
Yeah. It's definitely an amazing tool if you feel called to it. It's definitely helped me along my journey as well. That's great. Well, let's go back to Positive Head for a second. You've been like a pretty active part of this community. What influence has being a part of this group, this network, what influence has it had on your life?
It has really helped me to realize my greatest and grandest potential. Just making so many connections with so many beautiful souls and all the amazing light workers who are there already, and helping each other to lift ourselves up has been definitely the most grateful experience of my life. I know that without Positive Head, and especially the Positive Head Facebook group, get on there if you're not, listeners, that the current stage of my life would not be possible whatsoever. I mean, there's a lot of things I could say about that, and I don't want to start crying, but I'm extremely, extremely thankful. Words that cannot be relayed. I know that it is felt, though, and will continue to be. And I'm extremely excited to continue the relationships with everybody there and in the community.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's been really magical to see everybody coming into their own, like coming into their power, coming into their vision for the future. And speaking of that, do you want to, talk about what you've been working on creating? Because you've been having some exciting things happen, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what comes to mind when I think of what has come to fruition out of the Positive Head group for myself, which is the ability to bring together so many amazing light workers and healers and intuitive energy therapists and artists under this one umbrella that we can offer out to people. My mind is blown really with how fast it's come together. I mean, it's exactly as planned, and I'm so proud of those of us who really, really pushed hard at the end to get Manifest Ascension up and off the ground and available for everybody to go consuming and finding a safe space where they can learn more about their inner truths and a better way to deal with and impact their outer realities as well.
Yeah. So what is Manifest Ascension? That's what you're creating. And what is it? Like, how can you explain it to people?
So I mean, we have a website right now and some Facebook groups. This is an ever evolving, ever changing, ever growing thing, right? But this is just the launching point where we wanted to begin this platform of bringing all these people together, because I don't know of anywhere else out there where you can go and find like vetted spiritual guides, right? So I mean, that is it in a nutshell. It is a safe place where you can come find yourself and really learn and grow your own spiritual journey if you want. Catapult your own spiritual gifts. And one of the big part of what we do is helping to bolster people and build their own businesses in those realms too. So if there's any questions that you have or any uncertainties or how do I do this, we are here to bridge all gaps.
I love that. It's like tech support for your spiritual, well, not just tech support, but like all kinds of support, right? You're the support for this phase of getting yourself up and running in this like spiritual business realm. Is that correct?
That is exactly it. And I appreciate that language, having spent 15 years in the IT field and coming to realizations far before 15 years, let me tell you, that it was non-serving and I was over it and just bored, and I was supposed to be doing the spiritual path. So I am really glad to be here now doing just that.
Isn't it kind of amazing? Like, as you're saying that, I'm thinking like, wow, it's kind of so cool how I feel like everyone who kind of has this awakening and comes on the spiritual path and their life kind of shifts. It's like they were doing something before that they felt drawn to, but then suddenly that doesn't feel fulfilling anymore. So then they go searching, and then somehow they come to the spiritual kind of path. And then all of a sudden it feels like those old, like the other thing they were doing before, it kind of gets pulled in just in a brand new way into the spiritual path. So it's like wrapping it all into one. Does that make sense?
Completely, entirely. And also I want to say for anybody listening, I've noticed recently, especially getting out of that field that I know is undeserving to myself, how it's continued to try and crop itself up and interject itself back in my life, regardless of me knowing that it's unserving. So it's just continual tests and affirmation that is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And I have the faith and belief in myself to make my spiritual path benefit everyone.
Yeah. Well, this Manifest Ascension is like picking up so much speed. You guys just launched it last week, right?
Yes, 3 days ago on the 21st, Blackjack.
3 daes ago. Oh, 21, best number. 3 days ago. So yeah, there's a ton of P-heads in this group and a part of this project already. I know that, Tim, you're looking for, or you can speak to this obviously, but are you looking for more people to be a part of it? Like people who have services to offer? Like what are you looking for? How can people get involved if they're hearing this and intrigued?
Yes, exactly. We've got the website, manifestascension.com. You can check out the team there. You will recognize probably all of the faces. So extremely proud of that.
Yeah.
You can send email to Tim at manifestascension.com or get a hold of me on Facebook if you are interested or feeling unsure about offering your spiritual services. And I stress the unsure because I am happy to illuminate the fact that you are all powerful. You have that connection to the divine and you can do this. We are nothing special. This is just a practice, and we are here to share tips and techniques and help release some old traumas and catapult us further down our reality journey into the imagination.
This is so awesome because it's funny, Tim. I actually haven't told anyone this, but I'm going to tell you now because it's just so funny. You know how, like, I don't know who says this. I think Abraham talks about this, but like, how basically ideas are out there. They're just kind of floating around and it's like whoever tunes into them can receive them, right? So that someone here, like in the United States, can receive the same idea as like someone in India or something, and they can both work on it at the same time. And that's how ideas or songs or whatever it is that's creative can kind of come about and sound the same or look the same or whatever. And it's funny because another P head and I have been working on something for a little while. Not Ambi, but another P head, Marley. Have been working on something for a little while that started out as one idea, and then it grew and grew and grew, and suddenly it was essentially the idea of Manifest Ascension that you guys are working on. And the weird thing is that even we were like, this is such a good idea. Oh my God, there's no place like this. Like there's, just as you were talking about, like there's no, like a place to like nurture you as you like start your like spiritual business and everything that you were just talking about. And the weird thing was that all of us, we got this great idea and we started working on it. And then all of a sudden it started to feel really not in the flow, but we were still trying to work on it. And it was like every time we would work on it, the weirdest thing would happen to me. Like we'd start talking about it and my head would just, it felt like I was in a fog all of a sudden. I would just be like, I know this isn't confusing. Why do I feel like I'm confused? I have no idea, but like, it feels like I just can't move forward with this. And then Ambi Matthews, who's in another P head, is a medium and my co-host on another podcast I do called Inner Bloom, was giving me a reading about that. And she was like, oh yeah, you guys are not supposed to do that part. That's not your part. You're supposed to do the first part, like the first part of the idea. That part was just something you picked up on. And now I'm like realizing it's just illustrative of like, oh, it's like, you guys are doing that. That was for you. Like you guys got that on lock, and it's so cool to realize that like all the ideas we're receiving, they're being taken care of. Something's for everyone. Everyone's picking up on what they need to pick up on and it's all getting done. And some of us might be so tuned in sometimes or so receptive sometimes that we're receiving so many ideas and we feel like they're all supposed to be ours or that we have this pressure to carry them all out. And it's like, it's kind of really comforting to realize and see this illustrated in real life that like they're all getting done. They're all getting done, whether it's us or someone else, and it's cool. Even if it's someone else, it's awesome. Right? Yeah.
You do not have to go it alone ever, and don't ever feel resistant for asking for help. That's what our collective is here for. We are here to support and uplift each other.
Yeah.
But I mean, a big thought that comes to mind when you describe all that is I am a huge proponent of Rupert Sheldrake's morphogenetic field theory, which is essentially like the 12th monkey, if you've heard of that.
Yes.
And how, the fact that one individual has a thought, it then permeates through the rest of the species. And I think that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We're really harnessing those co-creative powers.
Yeah. You just put an image in my head because it's like is that what the morphogenetic field is? It's like we're all part of each other's. What does the morphogenetic field mean? Or what is that?
It's just the term that he used to label the interconnectedness of all things, right? Especially within a species. Like one way to really visualize it is schools of fish and flocks of birds, how they all move in unison, right?
Oh, have you ever seen starlings? How they move and make these shapes in the sky? So cool. If anything if any piece of nature has ever illustrated a group mind, look up starlings and murmurations. You'll be blown away. But go ahead.
No, that was it for that.
Okay.
We're on par. We're right on track.
We are. Yeah, no, yes. That makes sense. Yeah. Oh, it's so cool to think about like that. And I love thinking about positive head that way. Like every episode I've been doing recently talking about the power of this group, it becomes clearer and clearer to me that, like, I think I said this in a recent interview, that like positive heads almost feels like an entity of its own. It has its own energy, like its own life force, you know?
I know and feel exactly what you mean. It certainly is a powerful space. It really helps to uplift and guide so many people. Cannot thank Brandon enough for his labor of love.
Agreed. Same here. Well, so what is one piece of advice, Tim, that you would give to any other P-head that's on their, own journey? Like, what's the best piece of advice you can give them to help them?
I would say to just pay attention. Pay attention to the cause and effects in your life, and you will get led in the direction that you are supposed to go. Things will be illuminated as such that you cannot help but ignore them. The synchronicities will ramp up, and you will quickly realize the fact that as humans, we have immense co-creative powers to manifest our internal and external realities through the thoughts and the feelings that we have. And we can choose to steer this reality ship into the imagination anytime. It is just the thoughts that we think and our greatest, most grand intentions that get us there.
Yeah. I don't know why, but it's just popping up to talk about the power of intention with you. What do you have on that? Does anything come to mind about that?
And yeah, I mean, intention is such a huge piece of it. You can think positively as much as you want, but you have to have a vision too. You have to have that intent of what you are trying to accomplish to get from where you are to where you want to be going. I mean, it certainly can be a tricky balance between the imagination and expectation. We don't have to have every dot connected, right? We have to have faith and trust and belief in ourselves. And really all that faith and trust and belief in ourselves does is provide us with motivation. Motivation to see out that vision and bring it to fruition.
Yeah, I've been finding recently that the vision is super important for the motivation, like super important. Because like when we don't have a vision, it's like we don't know what direction we're going, right? Yeah,
and the vision is exciting, right?
Yes.
The vision is what we want to be doing. That's where we are headed, and what it really serves our soul.
Yeah. So what would you say to someone who's like, well, I don't have a vision. I don't know what my vision is. How can they get clearer on their vision?
You've got to look inside yourself. You've got to find ways to break your conditioning and step out of all of the propaganda around you. Get out of your current environments. You've got to break the cycle. If you're in one location constantly, that location clearly isn't working for you. Get out into nature and try and process things there. Call the people who are closest to you and get their opinions of your situation. Don't be afraid to share your story. It's all reflections, and it will be received just as you intended. Just take your time and pick your language, and it will all flow.
I love that you just said go reconnect with nature and process things there, because that's an exact reflection of, I literally was just emailing someone because I've got strongly this morning that like I need I want to go work on an organic farm and I just need like time, like a month or something to just like, because there's these ways you can go and just like work on someone's farm or just stay there, you know, for a period of time and just like process things, because like there's so much happening and I feel so strongly like that's something like I need to get out of my environment, just like you said. So that's so funny that you're talking about reflections. You're a perfect reflection.
Oh, I love you too, Alexa.
Exactly. Love you.
And also remember that you have all the time in eternity. You don't have to figure it out right now.
Mm-hmm.
You can take your time and choose wisely and carefully.
That is, man, that's crazy too that you just said that, because last night I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh, I have this belief that I need to do it all now, or I need to get it all while I can, or I need to. And then I was like, and what is that belief? That's a scarcity. That's a belief in scarcity that like, if I don't do it now, then there's not going to be any left, or there won't be opportunity anymore, or like this urgency. And that's so true. That's something that I just kind of downloaded last night. So I am with you on that.
Sounds close enough to label it a synchronicity.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, speaking of synchronicities, do you have any fun manifestation stories or synchronicity stories or anything magical?
Yeah, this was the most difficult one for me to narrow in on. One thing I want to bring to light real quick, though, are the synchronicities. I think it is absolutely amazing that without being planned, unbeknownst to everyone, the past 3 out of 4 P-Head Posse episodes have included Manifest Ascension Dream Team members.
Whoa.
So that is pretty cool in itself.
That is. And now it's you.
Right.
Who are the other ones?
It continues. It ensues. We had Callie Blake.
Yeah.
And then Michael Boyle.
Oh, yeah.
And Corey Puglisi.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. They're all so amazing. So, wow, that's crazy. And now it's you. Perfect 4. I guess
all
we'll
in
have
divine timing, right?
Yes. That's amazing. Yeah. And I asked you like out of the blue. Well, it wasn't out of the blue, but we were talking and suddenly it was like, and this leads me back to kind of what I was alluding to in the beginning of our talk. It was like you and I were talking and I was talking about like helping bring people that I knew to you, because I know a lot of different people who are, have different services and things. And then suddenly I was like, wait, I have the biggest asset ever, which is this segment, which honestly, I started thinking this is going to help people who are creating things within this group promote the things they're creating. And lately, like, yes, there have been people creating things, but nothing is big. Like what you're creating, I think is what I originally had in mind. And I was like, I can't believe I haven't seen that. It's like right in front of my face. And so, like you said, all in divine timing, but it's perfect. And I'm just so happy we can use this to bring everyone together and again, definitely check out Manifest Ascension. There's so much cool stuff going on over there. Tim is super knowledgeable. What are the Dream Team doing? What are their roles?
Oh, so I mean, we've got our people, the 4 of us, who really help to bring together the vision and design and help to make it happen, which was and are continue to be myself, Tom Steensma, Jessica Drew, and Callie Blake. They've offered so much help and guidance before and after this Manifest Ascension thing. I know that we are certainly soul family, and this is probably not our first time interacting in this 3D realm. So it feels really good to get back and find your family again.
Yeah.
Much gratitude to them. And, so many other amazing light workers on the team as well. It would be difficult to mention you all, but I have a great feeling that you're all probably going to get a turn on this P-Head Posse to share your love and light if you so desire. So, I mean, we have people who already have their services up and ready and have been doing it for years and decades. They know their shit.
Yeah, I saw you have Colby Rebel on there, right?
Yes, yes.
Awesome.
And another gentleman that comes to mind is Princeton. His
Yeah.
Evolve Mastery stuff blows my mind.
Yeah, he was just connecting with me on Facebook, I think. I've seen his name quite a bit recently. I'll have to check him out more. That's awesome.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Well, that's great. Well, before we wrap things up, is there anything else that you feel super called to share, Tim? Well, you have the floor.
I just want to share that we've also got a podcast, right? Tom and I co-creating with Tim and Tom. So if you want to check that out, it certainly helps to provide so many awesome permission slips. And then we've got lots of other amazing light workers from the team who are creating their own podcasts to begin with as we speak, I'm sure. So look for those.
Awesome.
And check out manifestascension.com. Use coupon code POSITIVEHEAD for 33% off anything that you find there.
Whoa.
And connect with the team and find yourself.
Yes, I love it. Well, Tim, this was amazing. So awesome to connect with you here, brother. And everyone go check out Manifest Ascension, see what you find there. And Tim, have a beautiful, beautiful day.
I most certainly will. You do the same. Enjoy your gracious moments. Thank you so much, Aleska, for making this all happen, bringing it together.
Thank you.
You're such a wondrous joy of light.
Oh, right back at you, bud. Love you.
Catch you in the next Perfect Now. Love you too.
Bye. That's it for this week's episode. If you're a listener with a story to share and are interested in being featured on a future episode of this special series, you can email me at alexa@positivehead.com. Also, if you're craving more consciousness elevating content, be sure to check out Gaia, which is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content on the web, where you can stream an incredible 7,000 plus exclusive videos covering 5,000 years of wisdom. As you all hear Brandon constantly say, it's a daily conscious effort to maintain an elevated vibration. And if you're looking to journey deep down the rabbit hole to do so, then Gaia is the best place we know of to do it. Period. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out. Otherwise, tune in next Friday for another P-Head Posse episode. And until then, as Brandon always says, journey well.